Ay, 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 ay. What's up, y'all? Get some people up in here. Oi, 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 oi. Oi, 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 oi. Ooh. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Happy Saturday. Apple time. Apple a day keeps the doctors away. Get your 2 servings of fruit every day, everybody. I woke up, I had some a real, well, I'm about to say real good. It was okay, melon. Okay. They haven't really gotten sweet yet. The second one I had this year wasn't amazing. It was okay. But yo, happy Mother's Day to all the ladies. Of course, that's tomorrow. Yeah, that is tomorrow. Me and the fam gonna be celebrating my mom as we always do. Go out to eat, that type of vibe. It's always hard to find a good restaurant, but we know a spot. I always say try to find something that, even though it might be popular and a lot of people go there, just a little bit off the beaten path. Because we deal with anything that's mainstream, like chain restaurants that everybody know. All right, please, y'all might not eat till Tuesday. We'll be waiting in line till Tuesday just to get seated. And I'm speaking from experience. I can remember many a time going to a restaurant saying, "Why the hell did we come over here? We should have known, man. There's no way in the world you're gonna eat on Mother's Day." And then the food is gonna be horrible, the service is gonna be whack. I mean, just everything about it gonna be wrong, right? So rather it be like that, like I say, five places that there ain't a place that won't be popular or popping, but go to the place that not everybody's talking about. It still got great food. That's the way to do it, and you'll be happy always. That's been my experience, and I usually don't like buffets, but I know about one really good buffet. It's super clean because my thing is clean. You know, you go to a buffet where they don't care if little kids get to grab the tongs and all that stuff. Oh man, you're gonna be sick as hell. You're gonna be so damn sick. Back in the day, I'm saying, when I say back in the day, I'm talking about probably 20 something years ago. Used to eat at a lot of buffets, you know, trying to save a buck or whatever. And I don't even want to name the restaurant because I ain't trying to give him no props like, you know. I'm real big on particulars of naming stores and restaurants and companies unless they really helping my bottom line, you know what I mean? But I'll just say the Golden. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying? But that place, it don't matter what location, they do not really manage the bar and make sure that, you know, folks are being clean and stuff. I mean, you watch people they digging in their ass, up their nose, hand the tongs to their kids snotty nose, grubby hands. You're like, what the? Oh my gosh! Like you think about the level of bacteria that is on that damn bar you getting your food from. I don't play with it, y'all. I don't play with it. I just don't do it. But if you get a clean one where you know somebody's constantly going by, wiping stuff down, making sure the tongs are wiped off, stuff like that, I'm like, okay, here, all right, now we, you know, because I mean, for real, people pretend like we didn't just go through a pandemic. I was nervous about this kind of stuff before that, but especially now. I mean, it don't make sense to me how people are not like. Did you not live the same years I lived a few years ago? Like, if you still here and I'm still here, you went through it like I did. So don't you feel that every time you go out? Like, let me make sure everything's everything. You know. I even keep. I mean, I still keep a mask on me sometimes. How many of y'all do? I keep on. I mean, I don't be wearing it all the time. You know, that's annoying if you ain't got to do it. But you know, if I go in a certain bathroom and just get a vibe, or you walk in, the funk is too loud. Oh, I'm pulling my stuff out, man. It helps with that, and then you just don't know what's floating in that air. You know what I mean? For real talk. That's just a suggestion. You can take it or leave it, but that's my thoughts on that. Hell to the no. But how many of y'all saw my post switching topics here to relationship goals in the art life? I did two versions of it. I did the actual post. It's a long. It ain't even long. I told y'all yesterday. I said I'm gonna start doing short, long content, meaning nothing's gonna be over 10 minutes if I can help it. Now some stuff gonna still be long because it's supposed to be long. You just gonna either watch it or you ain't. And I ain't worried about that because I learned my real audience, the people who love certain things. Like when I go fishing, hell, if the video is anywhere from 10 minutes to 30 minutes, somebody who loves fishing gonna sit there and watch all, or come back to it. They may not watch it all in one setting, but they'll come back. They will come back. I know I do. You know what I'm saying? If somebody about to catch something I want to see, I'm okay. Hey, I don't care how long the video is. I'll put it in my watch later list. You know, you had a watch later button here. Put it in the watch later. My watch later stay full. And then I'll never have to feel like I don't know what I want to watch. You know, sit down and be like, hey, let me see what I. You start looking at all the suggestions and you ain't liking none of them. So what? Like, go to my watch later and it's like, oh yeah. I never did watch that. I never did finish that. I never did. That's how you do it. That's how you watch YouTube. So YouTube takes a little bit of skill to really master its best qualities. A lot of people don't know about how to do it right. They just treat it like regular TV. It's not regular TV. It should not be treated like regular TV. You gotta be a little bit participant, put them likes on things, let them know you like stuff. All that helps. You know what I'm saying? Thank you to the one that gave me some love up in here today. You know what I mean? That's what it takes. That's what makes the difference, y'all. That is really what does it. No joke. No joke. Wiping off my shades here. It's not super cool outside, but it's cool enough to still have on what I got on. It's one of them weird days. You can't figure out what it's about to do or when it's about to rain. But it looks like it's about to rain. But then it don't rain. It just stay cloudy all day. One of them days. But yeah, I did this video, reaction video. This beautiful young lady I found online on Instagram. Her name is Nia Moore. And she go by the real Nia Moore if you want to look her up. Come to find out, she's been around for a minute, kind of, making waves, if you will, with appearances and stuff. Because looking at her website, at first I just thought, okay, she just does the content she's doing now. Nah, before this, she was, I guess into modeling, a little bit of acting, stuff like that. And but now she does like YouTube content or YouTube style content. Because honestly, I don't think she's even on YouTube. I found her on Instagram. She's got a big Instagram. Like I said, I think it's like 300 and something thousand plus. I mean, she got some people. She got some people. Uh, and she's funny. She's got a lot of personality. She's beautiful. So that's gonna work every time. Pretty privilege is real. And she's silly with it, but very relatable if you know someone like her. And I do. I know women that talk the way she talks, her cadence, the way she flow. She just got a certain soul and swag about the way she gonna say everything. So it's real fun to watch her, go through her little antics. Uh, but she was talking about Atlanta in one of her videos, so that's what pulled me in. I'm from Atlanta. I'm here. And I said, oh, okay. She talking about the Beltline. She talking about the food, the restaurants on the Beltline, all this good stuff. I said, okay. What else you do? So then I looked at this video that was obviously sponsored by a dating app. And I said, oh, man, she really doing it. She got the sponsorships, too. That's dope. Congratulations, because that ain't easy to get and maintain. People make it seem like it's all easy to get this stuff. No, that put your hands together. Clap, clap, clap. That's real work. But and it shows in her work. She's whoever's editing for her, whether it's her or them. And I said that in the video that I did. They're doing a great job. I mean, it's on par with something you would see on Food Network, like straight up. Like I would put her neck and neck in terms of the quality of her stuff to my girl Demetria Abelor, who y'all know I love her. That's my baby right there. That's my crush. One of my many crushes. Hey, what did Big Pun say? I ain't a player. I just crush a lot. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I got a lot of crushes on these beautiful women out here. You know what I mean? But she's another one I can add to the list. This one here, because the thing she said, and I'm gonna let y'all watch it for yourself. I want y'all to watch it for yourself. But she was, especially my ladies, all my ladies. If you are single, if you dating in that time in life, you know what I'm saying, you in your 20s and up, please watch that video, please. Because we need more of y'all to wake up to what that woman was saying. She know what she's talking about. She's one of the things she said. She's 37 now and still looking amazing. I mean, hell, she could pass for 28, But she's doing it right. She's doing it right, man. She said some things about what folks need to consider and what they need to do, and what's most important on a dating profile app and on an app profile. And I said, man, it's common sense. I don't know why more people don't say what she was saying, but to hear a woman say it and to know exactly what matters most to men versus all this just constantly changing the rules when it ain't that hard. It's real simple. And there's some stuff that just always works to attract us. Ladies, if you listen to what she had to say, she gave you absolute best advice, period. And she even showed you the pictures that she uses and how she's been able to get so many good results on the apps that she uses and stuff, right? And then I even heard her say in another video the name of another app that I'm familiar with, because I'm familiar with both the apps, the one that gave her a sponsorship and this other one she mentioned. And I laughed when she mentioned the other one because she's a she's a flight attendant, but she does private jets, not for a major airline. She does the private jet thing, and she's usually the one stewardess. She makes all the meals, so she's a cook. I said, okay, girl, all right, you stacking the deck hard, boy. She know what to do. She done told you I'm a cook on top of being beautiful, man. And she said, smile. She said, your number one currency that all men are gonna tell you, ladies, smile. I don't know no other way to say it. I don't know how many times you got to keep saying it. When I tell y'all I go on dating apps nowadays, and my biggest, and I mean biggest pet peeve, is women not smiling. I will not get off of it. I will stand on my soapbox. I will talk about it forever because it is a problem. So, as I was saying, the grind don't stop, y'all. You see the best. The grind don't stop. You know what I'm saying? We cutting through traffic. We making it happen. We delivering packages. We the reason for the season. All right. It's the courier side gig damn near every day until y'all kick in. I keep saying the dream is here. The dream is here. When y'all get this monetization bubbling for a brother, I can focus on other things. I can do some other things. So keep hitting the like button. Keep subscribing. We doing it. It's that slow. You're gonna appreciate every step type movement. That's what this is. I've accepted that's what it is here. You know. But I always know that any post could be that one to go, semi-viral, fully viral, whatever. Never know. Never know which one gonna be that one. So I'm steady coming with it. Steady coming with it. Steady serving up the fresh hotcakes. You know what I mean? Putting extra syrup for y'all. All right. So I was talking about a video I had just done with the young lady who was breaking down the importance of smiling, and I was saying how so many folks, so many ladies nowadays just don't. I mean, you be on a damn date now, you be like, look, I understand life is hard, been through it and all that, but that's not what you present to the world when you go on a date now. You know what I'm saying? You can share all that later when you start dating somebody and you like them. You're like, okay, well, let me tell you what I've been through. Because you should. Everybody need to vet everybody, right? But all this sour face or the so sexy that all you can do is duck lips or pout or just stare at the camera looking like a little monster. That stuff is not sexy. That's goofy as hell, and it don't say nothing about who you are. But a smile, a genuine smile, says everything. Keyword was genuine. You can't fake it either. I always say the best smile you're gonna ever take in a picture is if you are laughing, because it's natural, it's real, it's heartfelt. You're genuinely happy in that moment. Something made you laugh for real. That's a real smile. And if you think of something that makes you laugh like that, you'll always take a good picture because your smile gonna look genuine. That's a good way to be about that. Okay. And so a lot of folks don't even know that. I mean, there's a skill to it, but it also ought to be natural. It shouldn't be, so planned out and all that. But you need to have that in your arsenal, ladies. You need to have that in your arsenal. Hell, fellas, you need to have that because I see the ladies saying that they want to see that from us. They ain't got no problem with it from me. I know what I use to. I mean, it always works. There's a lot of women have told me. I'll be like, we get to talking. I'll be like, but did you read my profile? Because I said that's not what I do. I don't like this or I don't like that. He was like, honestly, I just thought you had a nice smile, so I liked you. I was like, yeah, exactly. See, I appreciate it, but you got to get past that and deal with what I said. See, and they always talking about that we don't read. No, a lot of them don't read either. Women love to be talking about these men don't read nothing. I see that in their profile. They say, I don't know why I'm writing this profile intro. Nobody ever reads this stuff. Says who? Says who? What committee of Neanderthals and idiots and imbeciles said that no man ever reads? I read. Shit. I read. Now, I can get in my mood sometimes where I get exhausted from reading and just say, I'm tired of seeing stuff I don't want to see. So depending on the app, if it's one of those where I can go back later and look through everybody I done swiped right on and start popping balloons, so to speak. The whole pop the balloon thing, start just popping balloons. Like, just, how they do on first round? First round on any of them shows like that, they always select people off of just basically look at them, what you think about how they look. That's it. No questions, no nothing. Just how do you, and there's a reason for that. And I like that that's a part of the show because people be talking all that stuff about looks don't matter, but the hell they don't. The hell they don't. And women love to say that. It's bull. That's crap. It matters to them too. There's a limit. They may not, they may say, okay, you don't have to look like the most handsome guy they would ever date, but you better be at least all right, whatever that is to them. And ain't nothing different about that with me. Matter of fact, the bar usually goes from middle and all the way up for whatever our taste are. It usually don't even start at all right, don't even want to, most men don't even want to show that on camera since them shows be live. They don't even want to show that they would mess with the all right, but it's funny when they sometimes get in a situation where they almost have to. Then you find out what really matters. You know, it's a funny thing, man. People just need to be more honest. That's all it is. It all got to come down to that. It's all got to come down to just being honest. And that leads me segue perfect into another topic I was going to address when it comes to this whole topic of relationship goals in the art life, right? And I do mean every word of that title and that when I speak of that type of content. When I say, we cover relationship goals in the art life. See, it's regular everybody relationship goals, hashtag yeah. I'm saying in the art life. Gotta add that art life part. Because if you're an artist or if you have ever dated an artist, that puts the art life part into it. Now I am an artist. So when ladies tell me that if I see in a lady's profile, like it's one of my favorite apps, and I will shout them out, not because it's a sponsor or anything, just because I've been on the damn thing so long. I just feel like they owe me a T-shirt, a seat on the board. I would have been making money off of this damn site. I need to be doing commercials for them. The actor side of me need to get a commercial from them. But okay, Cupid is. Are you single? Are you available? Are you single? So anyway, that literally was just on the radio. It was really bad for the signal, but we back. So here we go. You know what I mean? So as I was saying, with this relationship goals and the art life thing, I analyze my own life and the lives of others that I'm aware of, whether they be people I know, celebrities, etc., in and out of, committed to, might be going through the end of, might be at the beginning in the wonderful honeymoon season of relationships, right? And I was about to say I've started coming to conclusion. You can't really say conclusion. I'll just say I've come to some understandings about how things are in America and how infinite the possibilities can still be abroad, which is why I'm a big advocate of travel and being an expat and all of that type of thing, right? And then also, I've, I've involuntarily, how do I want to put this? Circumstantially been privy to, uh, what's the word? I want to make sure I use all the right words here. Relationships that are, and mind, before I say this, of course, I'm only talking about heterosexual. Okay, that's all I can relate to. That's all I know. Okay, I've dated some ladies who are of open spectrum or what have you with the way they rock, but that's their thing. That ain't shit to do with me. That ain't got nothing to do with me and mine, right? But to say that, to say this, I have come to understand though that in this day and time with all of this free, open sexual energy that is all over the place, you got some people who don't want to be bothered. They've been so heartbroken, some disappointed. They don't even want to do anything with anybody being intimate, physical no more. They don't even want to really date or anything. They just sour. I mean, I see the videos, I see the comments, I see the declarations, I see the rants, I see the all this stuff. And it's mostly dudes that are fed up on that side of it, the younger generation. And then you've got folks on the lady side of it, where they're fed up too. But the funny thing is, they might be fed up and they may be saying, "I'm in my piece and I'm trying to figure myself out and all that." But one thing I noticed about women, they don't be on no, "This is it. I ain't never trying again." No, they might be in a, "I don't know when I'm gonna say I'm gonna start again. I'm in a hiatus period," but that don't mean never again. I've noticed that. I'm not saying that they don't exist. There's those ones that like that too, but most women are gonna be on some, "I don't know when I'm gonna start again, but I know I'm gonna start again." Like there's always an optimism of, "I'm never gonna give up. I'm gonna figure this out. I still want what I want, and I just haven't found it yet. So I'm gonna tuck in. I'm gonna hide for months, years, weeks, whatever. Usually months and years." What I've learned from in my own dating experience from ladies who've done that, because I've sometimes been the one waiting outside the den, so to speak, after they finish hibernating. And I wasn't even waiting. I just happened to be passing by, on the dating app. You feel me? And they came out like, the bear woke up, and she come out in the spring, and I just happened to be passing by, and I left a little note that I noticed you in there sleeping, and you're very beautiful. You sleeping. I saw your profile that you forgot you made, and you really got a nice smile, because she had that smile picture. That's always a thing I tell y'all. hmm And and suddenly she's a contender. For being in my blender. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But but most of the time when that bear wake up like that, the little teddy bear, she gonna be like, "Oh my gosh!" Like she's excited. She ain't never been treated like that because I'm a different experience. You see, so that's been a thing that I've noticed that happens every so often. You know, I ain't gonna sit up here in front like most people do online and be acting like everything's always just so perfect and on the up and up, and all they gotta do is show up and everything go their way. No, hell no. That ain't real life. No. But in terms of things happening, yeah, they usually do when the right one come around, the right season, the right energy. It usually flows like it's supposed to flow, and it keeps flowing. You know what I mean? And everything that everybody wants out of the situation is satisfied. Most definitely so. Now, then life will rear its head with different challenges, and that be always the case of, okay, is this meant to continue? Is this meant to just be, all right, we had our season, it's time to move on. Uh, Maybe you're not ready for anything, totally committed. I'm not ready for anything, totally committed. So we try to figure it out, and we decide, you know what, let's stay in touch. You got my number, I got yours, but, everybody's going to keep exploring. So that's a lot of what's going on out here nowadays when it's done right. Now, most of y'all, from what I hear, can't be doing it right because there wouldn't be all this anger and resentment and all these rants online of people just totally pissed the phone off. Now, I've been there too. I done been through some stuff that had me mad. But after you done been through, for me, I can't speak for nobody else, but the way I was raised and the person I am in myself beyond just how I was taught to be, just who I know I am, I'm not gonna tolerate a lot of rigmarole and bullshit. I'm just not gonna tolerate it. So I avoid a lot of stress that other people make common to their lives. Okay, and I've come to understand that a lot of people my age, I mean, naturally, the older you get, you ain't got no tolerance for no bull. So it's way harder to date us if you think, oh, you need somebody to argue with you to feel loved, or you need something to be always wrong to have a problem to fix. No, if that's sexy or cool to you or cute, miss me. It ain't gonna ever work, right? So I was looking at something about the singer Neo. Y'all know Neo hails from Atlanta, represents Atlanta, lives in Atlanta, or at least has a residence in Atlanta. I met him one time. I met Neo one time. Cool as hell. He is every bit the cool dude you see on TV. You know how they talk about some stars. I'm in the film biz too, but he wasn't on set. So I'm just saying I've met a lot of quote unquote celebrities. And of the people I've met, he's definitely on the cool list. And it was a funny moment because it was the Barnes and Noble in Buckhead off of Peachtree. Anybody know Atlanta, you know what I'm talking about. And I saw the top of this dude's head with this black Zorro hat. It was literally a hat looking like Zorro. It was big as hell. It was stylish. It was cool, but it was so tall above the book racks. I was like, man, who is this dude that tall? And then he was moving fast. So I was like, damn, what dude got on skates up in here? And then I saw him turn one of the corners around the house and realized he was on one of them hoverboards. Bro was rolling around the store on the hoverboard with a Zorro hat on. I was like, that's some pure artist shit to do. Straight up artist stuff, 100,000% art life, you know? And he was just, I mean, it's kind of funny. It was like I laughed at myself. Like I think he felt like being noticed that day. It wasn't one of them. I want to go out and I don't want nobody to notice that I'm me and how I'm me. I think he wanted some attention that day. And it wasn't like he was loud or he was by himself. He was totally by himself. He was riding around on the hoverboard, and I saw him breeze by a few times. I'm standing in the magazine rack, and adjacent to where I was standing, there was the graphic novels, a whole wall of graphic novels and stuff. And I see him roll up and park there and start looking through books. And I said, "Oh shit, he into comics? Oh man, that's part of my life. That's the essence of how ONYXCON started. We were a Comic-Con first, right?" So I went over and I introduced myself. I said, bro, he said, yeah, man. And he's just like he sound, yeah, man. You know, shook his hand. He's like, yeah, what's happening, brother? I was like, yeah, hey, how you doing, man? It's you, right? He's like, yeah, hey, what's happening, man? Just, hey, I'm chilling, man. How you doing? I was like, yeah, I'm good, man. And I said, hey, I'm Joseph. Hey, bro, I see you looking at the comics. I said, you into comics like that? You into, superheroes and everything? He said, hey, man, I love this stuff. I said, oh, bro, what? I'm giving him dab and stuff. I said, yo, man, let me give you my card, man. I do an organization called ONYXCON. We started as a con. At the time, I can't remember how long ago this was. We may have even still been doing events. So I probably was telling, hey, I got one coming up. You should come through. I'd love to even have you as a guest, man, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, looking at the card, and I'm like, okay, all right, bro. Yeah, thank you. Gave me dap again. He's like, hey, man, peace, brother. Thank you. Yeah, for sure. And then he rolled off on the hoverboard. Next minute, I saw him. I looked out the window outside, and I saw him getting in one of these. I forget what kind of Mercedes that is, but it's this one. I don't know all the numbers. I do ONYXCON rides. I like what I like, but there's only some cars I know by name and year and all that. But when it comes to Mercedes and Beamers, they got all them numbers and letters. I don't be remembering all that shit. I don't give a damn. So I just know what it looked like. It's the one that had the doors that go up on the side. I mean, there's probably a bunch of them that do this, but it was like the sports car style. It's probably just a two-seater. I remember it was white. It was sharp. It was brand new. The thing was bad as hell. And I saw him get off his hoverboard, put the hoverboard in the car, and dip. I said, that's crazy, man. I just met Neo, but like I said, that story, old story. I don't even remember how many years ago this was. It was a ways back. But funny thing about it, you know, fast forward, his life got all in the news, as it will be sometimes with celebs. And from what I've seen in his interviews, he doesn't really care. He don't mind putting himself out there a little bit. I heard him also say, "Y'all ain't gonna know all my business, but I don't mind sharing what I want you to know and keep it pushing." Uh, but he kind of became a face for polygamy because, and the concept of ethical non-monogamy. Okay, that's the term people are using these days. E&M and all this. You see it sometimes on dating apps. And I ain't gonna front. The first time I saw that, I laughed so hard because I didn't know what the hell it was. Man, I looked it up. I was like, man, these people crazy. And I laughed at myself still a little bit because I'm saying, I had to check myself. I had to just be real analytical. I said, hold up. Before I go laughing on instinct, because that's all that is. It's an instinctual reaction from how I was raised, from what I've seen most of my life when it comes to relationships, where, yeah, people get divorces, but then in my case, I mean, my parents still together. I've seen my parents, you know, uh, be an example of definite love, also going through the thick and the thin, but still together, for real, for real. And they this is 51 years of marriage. So, and as beautiful as that sounds and is for the kind of family structure we have, it's never been perfect, but it ain't the worst either. Because I know what the worst look like, because I know people who've been through the worst, and I've heard their stories, or I've seen the results of true dysfunctional situations with families and stuff, right? So I just had to check myself. I said, man, before you go, kind of instantly saying, oh, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I said, wait a minute, hold up. Let me really analyze what the word means and be realistic about it, right? If you really analyze what the word means, and what I've looked at, there's different definitions by different groups or whatever, but typically polygamy means having a person who is in relationships that are known is to say, here's the key part. This is the part most people don't understand. It's not just being out here messing around with any and everybody. Everybody that you're messing with is aware that you have other people that you're messing with intimately. That's the difference. True polygamy is responsibility. You still have to know. It actually gives you way more homework because you got to know what that person is doing, who they may have been with, who they, how they move, what they're into, if their tastes change. People got a right to change at any time. You checking in constantly. It's not this life where most people don't want to do anything that requires too much thinking. They just want to do stuff, you know. And then some people think it's just all about sex. It's not. From everything I've researched and what I already knew about it, no, it's about friendships. It's about connections. It's about being able to, yes, be open about having the ability to have a sexual relationship, but most importantly, truly having friends and the connection of the extension of all these other people that you know and are on that level with, right? So, in extra analyzation of it, I started understanding. I said, man, how many of us are living that without, like, involuntarily? I said, and what I mean by that is you're already doing part of it. Most people are doing that, but it's just a different word for it. Their shit is like it ain't true polygamy because no one's being honest about what they doing. They just out here cheating. They just out here messing around. They out here telling somebody, yeah, I think I might want to commit to you, but you done told 5 other people that, and nobody is truly the one. Which I don't have no problem with there being one. I always say there are no one. There is no one. There are the ones, and there are the ones of ones. So, and when I say that, I literally mean that in a world of billions of people, I truly feel that there's no one person that can be right for any one person in an intimate lifetime. But you make a choice. That's why they call it settling down. I say when you settle down, if you really think about what the word means, you could be going on and finding other people, but you decided to settle and focus on that one person because you trust that they're going to fulfill all you need and you're going to fulfill all they need, and y'all are going to keep each other satisfied for the rest of this journey called life, right? And that's beautiful. That is beautiful. If you are equipped to do so, if the society around you is not pressuring you to go outside of that covenant, if the society around you is not damning you with religious stuff, because I'm not religious, so that helps a lot. I always say, if you want to live any of this life that I'm talking about, you damn sure can't be religious. Oh, you can. I ain't gonna say that, because there are plenty of people who are that do it. But I'm saying, I don't think that. And by the way, this is not a speech to say I'm declaring myself a polygamist at this stage, but I am researching it and being honest about what the word means and what I've been living as a single man for the last few years and how that works for me. I am researching it, considering some things about it, and applying it to the way I move, you know, because I'm understanding that, in this life, there's a couple of things about it. For one thing, every time I hear somebody talk about having success doing it, there's definitely a financial factor. But that's a thing in there anyway. In a capitalist system and in a global economy that's so fixated on money, money this, money that, money that. Y'all know I don't put money first, but I have to consider it. And I always tell y'all, in really respecting and understanding my philosophies for this ONYXCON version of art life, I say, hey, be an artist, be somebody who loves the arts, but understand art is often not appreciated, it's exploited, and therefore we don't make the money we should make. But so we have to figure out other ways to make it. Like I'm out here doing right the funk now, right? We always got to go do all this other stuff. I say artists wear more hats than anybody else ever will in a lifetime when it comes to work. As we work towards the crowns we were meant to wear, we were born into royalty for the way we think and what we share with the world and what we leave behind as artists. but we are often not appreciated properly for it, and that is not right. It is like the ultimate karma that the world population will suffer every time they do us wrong. But that's a whole nother conversation. So when I look at an artist that's been successful and does have a financial, like a Neo, or even I'll use another example, and this is a I'm only bringing him up because of that part of his life, not other things that recently came up. Because I'm on the fence with brother. But old Nick Cannon, Nick Cannon came up recently in some stuff about possibly being in support of the tyrant and the nonsense, and everybody's like, wait a minute, what? And when I saw why he was being brought up, and I may not have said everything, I always know there's more, and I just don't have time to get that deep into it with these people. Their life ain't gonna affect my bottom line or help me get to the next order I need to get this money to pay the rent, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I just be like, yeah, okay, give me a little bit and not a lot, because I can't take too much. It's all fluff any damn way, right? But he had an interview with Amber Rose, who was outright supportive of this craziness, and he was just giving her a platform to speak. So because he did that, a lot of people thought maybe he was with it too because he was giving her a platform. I don't see somebody giving somebody a platform to speak on something necessarily that's their position, and he kind of posed it in the interview I saw, like, yo, that's gonna get you some heat, so what's up with that? It wasn't like, oh, I'm with you. Yeah, tell them why it's great to support a tyrant. It wasn't like that. But a lot of people tried to cast that on him after that moment, and I didn't. I was like, okay. So I was gonna say, Nick Cannon, he's another one that does that life. Obviously, I mean, they always make the joke about him like he can't meet a fine woman without her getting pregnant. They go, "Oh," and they know it, so they can't wait to get pregnant by this, multimillionaire because they know they're gonna be taken care of. All right, y'all. All right, y'all. So, I was thinking I'm gonna more or less wrap this first talk about this up, but I probably would do a whole video or a series of videos about this and use clips, videos I've been looking at and studying over the years, and most recently some really good ones. I found some channels that just talk about the whole topic of polygamy, polyamory, and all that old stuff. Everything that go with it, right? All the different categories and versions of it and all this. And of course, it gets real broad, and it gets into a lot of other categories of stuff and ways people approach it. There's no one way. There's no one, oh yeah, if you do this, this is the only way. But there is a standard definition. And the part that intrigues me the most is the standard definition saying that if you're really doing it and doing it according to the definition, everybody's aware. It's never, oh, somebody's trying to force somebody into a way or coax them into a way of doing stuff. No, it's like they know, oh, okay, you got some other people you see, okay, great, I understand, cool, I do too, right? And that becomes the standard of how that's the most basic way to define it, is awareness of what's going on versus how most people don't give no awareness. They out here doing any and everything. And this is why we got all this rampant disease. This is why we got all these damn crises with love triangles and people getting, unalived, as people like to use the phrase. I mean, for real, because you playing with emotions that are the deepest, and you're not being realistic about what that is and how that works. But what I'm finding is, as societies, but specifically American society, I'm just gonna say that for what I know of where I'm at, and even to get even more specific, I'll just say in the new wave South, because in Atlanta particularly, like, I don't live in the city, but the effects of the city are broad. So whatever's going on, the city is the nucleus of the cell, and Metro Atlanta is everything around the nucleus, and that's a lot of counties. There's Fulton, and I always say every county that touches Fulton is part of Metro, undeniably. I don't even argue that with people. I just say if you don't understand that, you don't know what Metro Atlanta really represents. And it's always expanding. And the concept of that I even put into my fictional work. If you haven't seen Cyberpunk ATL, check that out. Because I talk about that. And I even talk about polygamy in the character, the way I did my character for that. Yeah, even the way I have my main character in my fictional piece, Cyberpunk ATL. He's somebody fitting into that crazy world that's way more advanced and way more hardcore than our own, but not far from it in terms of the way people act and their ambitions, their desires for power. I mean, all that stuff is ancient, but I'm saying the way they go about it is very much so like modern society, and I express that. And so, to tie it back in with real life people who are living that, relationship status of Neo or Nick Cannon and others who, been out with it in the public. Like, yeah, man, look, I love two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine women, whatever. Yeah, I get it. I get it more and more because why? Because you got that kind of money and that much heat coming at you all the time. Like, neither one of these dudes are sloppy fat. Let's just get real. Let's get honestly fucking real about it, right? They're not sloppy fat. They're in excellent shape. There's enough women in the world who do consider them handsome. Okay, they top prize. You become what you've made yourself. And when you are that, even once you commit, man, it's pressure. It's pressure. You know, because everybody wants the good thing. And I'm not saying that makes those people who just want you for nothing. Because that could be an early sign of I don't want to deal with you because you don't respect that I tell you I got something and you just anyway she don't have to know and all that. You got women who are like that purposely try to mess with married men and don't care, or they've been approached by some married men before they stop caring. They just like assume that's part of the plan. Yeah, they just assume that's part of the plan, y'all. They really do. And then you got a lot of situations now where like I say, then there's the other version of where if you're being honest about it, okay, somebody could be a couple. They may not be married on paper, but they are a what do they call it? Common law marriage. So y'all live together, y'all share the bills together. That's common law, right? At a certain point, whether you declare it or not, the state gonna declare it. In most places in the U.S., to my understanding, and that's gonna be your status, and that's gonna have to be how you have to deal with your taxes, and land, and whatever else you got going on, right? So all of those things like that are part of the equation, and I think it's just it's a choice, like anything else in life, to say, look, if I had this, I remember I was having a conversation one time with a friend. This was, I was much younger, but since then I've really thought about that thing. And the older I get, the more I just be very honest about it. But at the time, I may have been married. I'm divorced. I don't have no kids. But it was asked and said, "Yo, man, if you were getting married again, would you get married again?" I was like, "Oh, I don't know, man." I said, "I'm just getting back out here. I must have been single. Yeah, I must have just been single." And like, so would you get married again? I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just too much after what I went through. Because I was fresh on it, of all the pain and the stress of it and everything, right? But I never get a lot of my buddies is telling me ones who had already been through all that stuff. They've been divorced or they've been single so long from a long relationship. Maybe they were never married, but they broke up with something that they had for a long time. They was like, look, man, trust me, you're going to be all right. It was like, yo, them young girls, they going to be all over you. I was like, man, I ain't thinking about them young girls, man. Trying to, because at the time I thought, oh, you can't relate to them. And they were just looking at me like, don't none of that matter. Oh, none of that matter. Like, trust me, bro. You get the right one who's kind of mature, be very mature. You ain't gonna care. You ain't gonna care that she don't know about your rap songs and your favorite R&B. You're not gonna give a damn. And every word of what they said was true. And I did have those experiences. I had a few of those experiences where I'm always teaching, but it was fun. And to this day, there's a part of me that still likes that. For dating younger ladies, like you know, and I'm talking grown women, never nothing but grown, right? But 25 and up like that, or anywhere around that. It just 20s, but especially 25 and up. Okay, they're gonna be more like respectful of if they really really know what respect is and like you. They're gonna want to hear everything you gotta tell about what they don't understand or what they've been lied to about with people fabricating stuff. Because there's a lot of that online, and they stay on their phones, so they gonna run them questions by, and then when you giving them stories that they can't deny this man lived this, it's like, oh wow, that's what it really was. Yeah, that's what it really was, baby. That's what it really was. And all of that kind of thing, which is awesome, and I'm very proud that that can still happen, right? So that's one side of it. Then you got the side where no, they don't care about all that. They don't want to hear your side of stuff. They get tired of you talking about the old days, whatever. And I'm not the kind of person to just dwell in the old anyway, so that's not really a big factor. But respecting it is important so that you can move forward. I want you to at least respect it and know about it. You know, talking about it all the time, always talking about high school. I don't give a damn. I get tired of my own friends that I went to school with, always talking about high school stuff. I'm like, man, that shit is. I'm I'm so glad I'm not there anymore. Like that ain't got nothing to do with the dude I am now. And all the stuff that meant something back then don't mean much or nothing. It's just good memories. Some of it's good, and some of it ain't so good. But the part that's bad don't even matter. It's so irrelevant. It's so kiddie. It's so it could represent magnified versions of other stuff as you get older. You see that people don't change. They just do more high school type stupid stuff, trying to be popular, trying to be hip, trying to be cooler than they are. It's very circumstantial, y'all, and it's very circumstantial. And like I say, I thought about this as I was doing this live. I said, this don't need to be a live. This need to be something I edit so I can make my points and share clips that reinforce my points. Because just shooting it off the brainstorm, which I still don't care. This is what I do when I go live. I brainstorm, and I like the idea of doing a video about it. I've been wanting to do it. And even saying it out loud helps me to kind of sketch out the idea. And I'm a real drawer and painter and all that, so I'm literally virtually sketching it in my mind as I go, saying how I want this to look, what videos I've seen, what clips I want to put in. So till later, that might happen. All right, peace.